Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Series 2 of the Best Friends Club Podcast. We are your hosts. My name is Charlotte.
And my name is Fizz.
And we made it. We made it back for Series 2.
We made it back. We got renewed for a second season by us.
We did. By ourselves. We renewed ourselves for Series 2.
How are you?
How are you, Fizz? Wow. We're a little bit rusty. Can you tell?
Just a little bit. I'm fine. I'm okay.
Good.
Yes,
I'm also okay.
good to know. We actually
But
no, it's been a while since we uploaded the last episode, I think, like a week or something. But yeah, how are you, Charlotte? Oh wait, we already discussed.
I'm all okay.
Oh wait, we should talk about the new icon and like we
Yes, I was going to say that.
yeah,
We've had a rebrand.
we did. We have a lovely icon, like an icon now that was drawn by one of our lovely friends.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Eli. I think that's how we pronounce your name. I've never said it out loud, so if it's not, I apologize. But I think that's how you pronounce the name. They are lovely deps on Twitter and on lots of other social media, I think. And they kindly drew us a new icon and logo for our podcast. So we're official. We're on Series 2 and we've got a beautiful new icon and we're ready to go. And where are we, Fizz? We're not in Manchester anymore.
We're not in Manchester anymore, Charlotte. We are in London. Welcome to
We're in London.
welcome to the London era.
The pad and the big smoke, I think, is what Dan and Phil call it in Tynoff.
In Tabnoff, yeah. My favorite apartment. I think this is a very popular opinion. It's just the
Yeah, I
best.
think this is everybody's favourite apartment.
I think it's
because we
Phil's
have
favorite.
seen literally every square. Yeah, we've seen every square inch of this apartment. There is not a corner or like inch of carpet that we have not investigated with our eyes.
It's true. It's true. And yeah, it's just amazing. So it's the summer of 2012. Dan Phil have moved to London. They've given up all of their savings, and yeah,
Which is insane, by the way. I think we have discussed this before, but that is insane to me that they threw all of their savings into like a year's worth of rent just to see if they could make London happen.
exactly, and like to see if they could make radio work and living off of basically like YouTube wages, which are not a lot. If you're, I don't think they were doing a lot of sponsorships either. It was just AdSense that they were making money out of, which is insane.
Yeah. So, well, congrats to Dan and Phil. Well done
Well,
for making that very scary move to London.
yeah, look at what has happened so far from just doing that.
I know, and now they bought a house in London. I
I
bet. Imagine if you told 2012 Dan and Phil, who had thrown all of their life savings into like an apartment, that in like 10 years they'd be able to buy property in London.
I don't. I think they would freak out. I don't think they would believe it. I can barely believe it.
No, I don't think they would either, honestly.
Yeah.
So we're in London. What video are we talking about, Fizz? If you haven't read the title of the episode on Spotify, what video are we talking about?
The video we're talking about is the wardrobe, all caps. So
All caps.
all caps.
I'd say quite an iconic video in Dan and Phil history.
Yeah, it is a really iconic video. I found myself sort of saying what they were saying along with them, like I could quote it from memory. Did you feel that like you knew so much of it?
Yeah, like it definitely. I think because it still feels like quite recent, but although it's not recent, so I think a lot of it is just in my head, and I think, which we'll get on to discuss, this was my time that I joined like the fandom and started watching Dan and Phil, so it's definitely one that like sticks in my memory as like a top tier icon Dan and Phil video.
Oh my god, yeah. So I mean, yeah, we can talk about the video and like the context of it. Obviously, this is when they just moved. Um, this so it was filmed within days of them moving, they had no other furniture. As far as
Literally, they'd moved like 10 days before or something. Not 10, like
not
a
10,
week before.
yeah. So they moved on the 23rd of July, 2012. We know that because Phil was live tweeting the moving. He's like,
Yeah, we have a tweet from Phil here on the 23rd of July saying everything is packed onto the camel to the Southlands.
spoken like a true northern person who has never lived in the South. Yeah.
And then when they arrived at the flat, we have another tweet from Phil saying, 1 hour into living here, and I just epically fell over in the lounge, cut my knee, and dented the wall. The flat is probably fearing for its life. And again, that's classic Phil just moving in. Do you remember when they moved into? I think it was the Faust. He like spilt milkshake all over the wall. Do you
Yeah,
remember that?
yeah. And they talked about it
Yeah.
in the video. Yeah. They're like, oops, well,
Maybe it's just like a Phil thing that he has to like christen the new flat with some sort of accident.
yeah, at this point, I think they're like, it has to happen. It might just be like good omen at this point. Um, but oh yeah, and also another thing was that they had spent the day obviously with friends in London with Bryony, and Phil tweets later that night saying that they missed the last train, so they couldn't even sleep in the new flat the first night they were there. They had to stay over
That's
at
so sad.
so sad. You would really like want to obviously like be at your own place the first night you're there. Um yeah,
Again, I feel like it's just Phil, classic Phil. What
classic.
did we expect?
Yeah. We don't have a lot, we don't have Dan tweets because he deleted them. We've been over this. We have no idea what we
Yeah,
have to
we're
assume.
we're side eyeing you, Dan. What were your thoughts on the 23rd of July, 2012?
We will never.
If you're listening, get in touch and tell us.
Yeah, please get into our Tumblr inbox. You can be anonymous. We won't tell.
So yeah, thank you, Phil, for basically live tweeting everything so that we
So
have some record of what was going on in your life at the time.
I know.
So, as I have mentioned before on this podcast and literally 5 minutes ago, this was my time, Fizz. This was when I started watching Dan and Phil. This was when the decline began, so to speak. And thank God for me live tweeting everything in 2012 because I have some of my original tweets of when I started watching them, and I thought it'd be really fun to read them out on the podcast for
Please
Fizz
do.
to react to.
Yes, please do. This is so exciting. Go ahead.
So, my earliest tweet that I can find on one of my Twitter accounts tweeting about Dan and Phil is, my God, Dan Howell is just, ugh, I don't know, words fail to form and escape my mouth. I can't. And that was on the 12th of July, 2012. Have you ever heard a more 2012 tweet in your entire life?
I have never heard a more 2012 tweet or a more Charlotte tweet in my entire life. Like that's exactly how you talk about it
Yeah,
right now.
I feel it's very on brand that my first tweet about them as a whole was just about how beautiful Dan is.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
And then I've got some more from later on that month. So on the 23rd of July, I tweeted, yes, I finished watching all of Damage Not on Fire's videos. Now to watch all of his videos on his other channel.
Oh, on that is not interesting. I was like, I thought it was going to go to
Yeah,
like, no, I'm gonna watch Phil, but you're like, no, I'm gonna watch more Dan.
more Dan, please.
More.
And then on the 26th of July, I tweeted, finished watching all of Damage Not on Fire's videos. Now on to watching all of AmazingPhil's videos. Whee!
Whee!
So I clearly wanted to do all of Dan's first and then move on to Phil's. I
Priority
had a
for
system, clearly.
yeah. Like you were already Dan one.
Yeah, but controversially, I have a tweet here that I feel that you will emotionally relate to, Fizz, from again the 27th of July 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mind me just having an emotional breakdown over Phil Lester. Just leave me be.
Yeah,
I had a momentary lapse in judgment.
uh,
I clearly was consumed by the Phil content and it took over my brain for like 2 minutes.
2 minutes, and then you're back. I'm sure.
And then I was back. I was back on my Danny train.
Yes. No, I don't blame you at all. The first like initial Phil hits you like really hard.
And then I also found some of my tweets from when they uploaded the wardrobe.
Live reaction.
Basically just saying, new Amazing Phil video. This has made my day. I'm so happy.
Oh,
So, like, that's just amazing. Like the fact that I have these like tweets from the time that I can now look back on. Hopefully this is interesting to people. If this is an interesting segment, please let us know. If it's really boring and it's only interesting to Fizz, also let us know.
no, I'm sure it is because I think we just like sort of at this point um we'll be able to give more context of what was happening and like our yeah
Yeah,
they're gonna get more detailed as our decline goes on because now we're just casual fans at this point. We don't know what's about to
we
happen.
don't know what's about to come.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think as well something that's interesting that I've seen a few people talking about on Twitter, like that are newer fans, is that they're so sort of interested in what the fandom was like back then
Mm-hmm.
and sort of what like people's thoughts were like when videos were being uploaded and like when things were happening. So I think it's interesting like look back and see what my opinions were then and to see if, they'd still be the same now or like what my thoughts are.
Yeah, exactly. Same. I agree. So honestly, like, we do hope that this is super interesting, but we also kind of know that, like, we're just giving the people what they want. I think
We are.
we are.
Anyway, shall we get into the video?
We can. So the video, the wardrobe, was uploaded on the 31st of July, 2012, and immediately it is. I mean, okay, so it's 7.5 minutes or something like that. It's almost 8 minutes long. And I have a
Yeah, which
poem.
he tweeted about and he was like, guys, I'm sorry my video is over 8 minutes long. I'll try and cut it down.
And he said, "Shall I cut it down a bit?" And to that I say, no. Release the uncut, the wardrobe video. I would like to see the unedited one, if it's not even that long.
Like, what did he cut out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. How many fucking wood jokes did they cut out? We'll get into it, but God.
So my first note was about Phil and his weird relationship with the Queen because we're like 30 seconds in and he's already talking about the Queen, which then seems to become some sort of running joke in his videos. And I don't know why. Like,
I think
I
it's just,
don't know what the whole deal is. I think because he's just moved to London,
yeah,
he's just
exactly.
sort of so obsessed that he lives in the same place as the Queen.
Exactly. No, I agree. I think it's just that, and because it's in a lot of solo videos and like in very like initial 2012 London videos, Phil mentions her so much, and then you obviously have like the Queen mask and stuff. But I have the same note. I said Queen jokes begin now. My first note after that is, so he shows us like a preview of what the flat is with like funky edits and like blurs and pictures over it all, and it's so
Yeah.
funny to see that now because
When we have like seen every inch of that flat,
every
yeah.
yeah, and but it's also fun to see like what it looked like week one and to like what it became, and like they sort of like built a home out of it because it became such a, there were so many pieces of themselves and like around that apartment, which is why I like it so much. It's such a cute little like snapshot of both of their personalities combined at that point in their lives. I mean,
I
uh,
suppose as well, like, obviously we know that they moved into Manchester together, but
mhm.
I suppose this was maybe more of like their first home together in a sense, like that they'd say, I think because maybe they'd poured all of their savings into this place. So it was definitely more of a like, right, this is our home, this is where
Mm,
we're going to live, this is going to be our base. And they definitely will have planned it to like obviously I think the gist from what I've got is that they paid for a year's rent up front. If I am wrong, somebody correct me. So they
mhm.
definitely planned to stay there for at least a year, and obviously we know that they ended up living there for many years.
Many
So I
years.
suppose that it did become this like cozy first home for them when they'd decided, right, we're going to live together now. We're going to make a go at this YouTube thing, this
Yeah.
BBC thing, and like Dan and Phil is going to be a thing.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, exactly. You articulated that. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas I feel like Manchester was maybe just a bit more like, haha, two friends just gonna live together for a year, see what happens. But like this was a decision.
Yes, and I also think the Manchester flat. I mean, both of these apartments were furnished, or um, but I think the Manchester one was more furnished, and it just wasn't them. Like there wasn't a lot of
Yeah.
personalization beyond like their own bedrooms, I feel like. But London was just like littered with their own stuff. Like even though they had like Phil had a bed from the previous tenants and they had dining table and stuff, it's just like I don't know, they
Yeah.
really put their own, yeah, like I can't finish that sentence, I'm sorry.
So one of my other first notes was, as it becomes apparent as soon as we get into this video is innuendo central. There are innuendos and euphemisms all over the place. I even made a note that this is like Dan and Phil games level of innuendos at this point.
I agree. I didn't make that connection, but I do agree now that you said it. Yeah. Oh, it's already.
Like, what was wrong with them? Maybe they were just like so tired on like lack of sleep, and it was just that it was just innuendo time, no matter what they said.
Yeah, I think it was inevitable when the wardrobe was just wooden. There's just so many jokes to make. You don't have to make them, but they're not. Yeah.
I do think actually that that is maybe what they're like a lot of the time anyway.
Hmm.
Um, when they're just being them at home, I reckon that like there's innuendos all over the place.
True. And also, I just realized they are like in their early 20s. Dan's like 21, Phil's 24, 25.
Hmm.
So, very expected, I think, just to be still kind of just immature.
Silly.
Yeah.
Also, we mustn't forget, Fizz, that these are boys. They are men. They are the
Yes.
male species. So silly sex jokes are at the top of like their list of humour. Dan and Phil are no exception to this, and we mustn't forget that.
It's true. At the end of the day, they are just men. Um,
They
just
are just men.
yeah. But honestly, like if you watch the video, we've talked a lot about the video at this point, but the jokes start seconds into it. Like they just the first thing that happens is that they are taking like wrapping off the actual box of the thing, and Dan moans. He doesn't need to do that. He does it a few times in the video, and I hated it. I was like, "Ooh, why?" And then should we talk about mirror babies? And that was a funny joke.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Just wait, I wonder what the actual joke that Phil was going to say was before Dan said mirror babies.
All
Or
right.
if that's what he was going to make the joke about.
I think it was going to be a sex joke, but Dan gave him the punchline. Like I think it was a very good joke, but I was very like eye rolly about it. Like it's funny, but I'm not gonna laugh to make you feel better. That kind of joke.
You don't deserve a laugh.
No, not for that.
So, no, definitely not. One of the things that I picked up on throughout the video and that I've made a couple of notes on is the bit where Phil was like attacking Dan with the big long piece of polystyrene and like prodding him.
Mhm.
And then Dan was like, "Stop it, you're getting it all over the floor." And I think this was just like one of the things in this video. I made a note about another part where you can tell who's like the older sibling and who is the younger sibling in this like relationship.
Yes. Yes. Oh my god. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Are you an older sibling?
And I
Just
think
a tangent.
I am an older sibling.
Oh, okay. I'm a baby sibling.
Do I give off the vibes?
You do actually, yeah. But I didn't know if I was right. But you're so right, like I completely Phil is such a younger sibling. Oh my god.
Absolutely.
He's so annoying.
He is so annoying. And I think I picked up on that. I think this is just something like this is how they are whenever they do anything. Like if they're building stuff. I think there's another bit later on, where Phil is holding the wood in front of him and like moving across the wardrobe. He's like, Dan, look, Dan, look at me. And I was like, yeah, that's a younger sibling thing right there. Like that's 100% something that a younger sibling would do.
Yeah,
And you can just tell that Dan is just like, exhausted with him.
yeah. But he'll like indulge him, but it'll also just be like, you are so annoying. Are you talking about like the
Yeah.
woodman thing? Woodman.
The Woodman, yeah. The most pathetic, lamest joke that Phil has ever made. It was so terrible.
It was so terrible. But I felt so bad for him.
And
He sounded so sad. He was like, woodman.
I was like, I don't quite understand like what was funny about it. It didn't make any sense to me.
No, it didn't do me either, but I think he just wanted to say something to say something.
Say
Conversely,
something to be funny.
yeah, exactly. Conversely, when he was intending to be funny, this is the complete opposite. He was for some reason rubbing a piece of wood and not realizing what he was
Oh
doing.
yeah, yeah.
And my note for this is, girl, why are you jerking off the wood?
I mean, that's a valid question. Dan was also wondering why he was doing that.
He's like, do you realize what you're doing? Mm-mm. Okay, cool. Moving on.
Again, just adding to the innuendos, and then there was like a whole string of like your mum jokes as well, which, as you all know, me and Fizz love the your mum jokes that
They're
they
friends.
make.
They're friends of the
Just
podcast.
fantastic.
Yeah.
They are friends of the podcast.
I I picked up how I remember this vividly from this video. There Dan says that's what she said a lot of times, but he says it like that's what she said with like a lisp. And I picked that up. I remember this because I would also say it in that tone later on in my life, where he would just go, "That's what she
Oh my
said."
god.
Yeah,
I can't believe that Dan has influenced your speech.
both of them have. There was a tweet that someone had said, they were like, apparently someone else pointed out to the person tweeting that they have a slight British accent, and they asked if they were from England. And so the person who tweeted it was like, I'm not English, but I was watching Dan and Phil at the time, so I picked up their accent. And I mean, I know you're English, so like you can't exactly relate to it, but I would also do that. Like I would just unintentionally go into a bad British accent, or like whatever their like Phil's northern one or whatever.
Just
Embarrassing.
osmosis, the Dan and Phil effect.
Yeah, exactly. Um,
Speaking of voices, I noticed that Dan's voice sounds so different in this video. Like it's not his on camera voice, but like it's something else. And like he just sounds so different to how he sounds now. And I think they talked about this when they reacted to the pin off videos. I can't remember which one it was, but they talked about um how different Dan's voice is because I think he sounds so different now. Obviously I know that like his voice probably will have
changed.
dropped, but I suppose he was like 21, so like I don't know how much your voice, if you're a man, like how much your voice changes like in your 20s, but I suppose it will do. But yeah, I just noticed how different he sounds like in this compared to how he sounds now.
Compared to how he sounds now, yes, I think so. I
Yeah,
I think he just sounds younger. I don't know if yeah, I think they do, like I think voices do change a bit even in your 20s. But he does sound very young, and like he sounds
yeah, he's still
whinier.
quite like high pitched, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, whinier, definitely. In a
whiny
good way.
in a good way. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that in a mean way at all. Like it's just how he that's just how his tone is the entire video, and I think that's just like how he is with Phil. Like it's either whiny or like exasperated or annoyed or just very fond, but like still with a hint of annoyance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just encapsulated everything there perfectly. Exactly how Dan's
Yeah.
voice sounds.
Yeah.
One of my big notes for this video was Dan showing off his feet. for free. We've got free feet for the entire video. We're so blessed, Fizz.
Are we? Are we blessed? Maybe you are.
I think we are.
I,
I'm blessed.
I'm not really. I don't really care that much, to be honest. No offense.
But like his whole feet just out for the whole video. Like, sir, what are we doing? If only he knew. Like, I bet those pictures and screenshots from this video are all over his wiki feed.
Probably.
And if they're not, I'm gonna go and upload them.
Okay, Charlotte. All right. You do that. But I do think it's funny that like he's not like that anymore at all. He's like, no, you're not getting.
Oh no! If you want Dan feet, you've got to pay. They're
Yeah,
behind a paywall,
yeah. Or in the older videos apparently, so you can just go back and
or in the older videos.
yeah, you can just watch.
I think if Dan ever made like an OnlyFans, it would just be like his feet, so like only feet. So, and you'd have to pay to see like unedited footage of like his feet. So maybe like he did a video standing up, but you had to crop it because you saw his feet, and it's just like the OnlyFans is like just his feet, the
Feet
bit
cam.
that they cropped out.
Mm-hmm.
Feet cam, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I think there's some money in that for him. I think that he could do that. People would pay to see that.
Are you hearing us, Dan? No more tour. Just OnlyFans with your feet.
OnlyFans, but for feet.
Yes. In the middle of watching this video, I realized that they were actually in Dan's room. I think, and like this
Do
is Dan's.
you think they were in Phil's room?
For some reason I was like, because
Yeah.
this is Phil's channel, it must have been Phil's wardrobe, but obviously it's not. Obviously it's not.
No, it's Dan's wardrobe.
Yeah, and I realized because he
So
started.
they've got the piano in the room as well.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's when I realized because he started playing the piano. I was like, oh, right. Obviously. I know this room well. I don't know why I thought it was Phil's.
Speaking of the piano, some of my favourite bits were when Phil went to play some background music on it and obviously can't really play the piano. So he did like a little song and then he does the bit where he's like, this is called Dan Smells. And then Dan does this like little silly laugh and he plays this like stupid song. And I'm like, I bet that was a daily occurrence in that flat of Phil smashing the keys and calling. So like if Dan did something to annoy him, he'd be like, this is called the Dan is stupid song because he wouldn't let me do this thing. And he'd just like play some random keys.
100%. 100%. That was my favorite part of the video. I have it like I love this. I also have this one like perfect cut in the video where I think Dan's looking for something. I think a screwdriver or a hammer or something. And he's like, where'd you leave it? And then he goes, why do you leave everything? And then it just cuts off.
Yeah,
that is also a highlight. It's so funny.
it's very funny. Again, that's just such classic Dan and Phil. I wrote for one of my notes actually that this like is so representative of their whole dynamic. Like Dan trying to do things and Phil is just being stupid and standing there.
Yeah.
Like that's what this video is.
Yes, essentially, yes. That is the entire video. Phil like does a couple of things, but he's mostly just being Phil the entire video.
He's just there for the vibes. That's
He's
what he's doing. He's
he's
just vibing and having a good time.
he's there for the content, to be honest, because this
Yeah.
video wasn't not is as we know is not on Dan's channel, it's on Phil's channel. So he's like, let me just film my roommate getting progressively more frustrated with me, and it'll be
I
good.
suppose as well, this is such like easy content for them because like they were going to be building the wardrobe anyway. So like why not film it and make it a bit funny and upload it as content?
Yeah, exactly. Good idea, honestly. Good for them. We also have a song at the end. Now that they've built the wardrobe, they go, we built a wardrobe. Yeah, we built a wardrobe. Why do you think wardrobe?
A little rare Dan and Phil song. That one didn't make it onto the album, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately.
Clearly not as iconic.
Yeah. But yeah, is that it?
That's the most of the video, and then we have a little cut off of Phil chatting to the camera, and then the iconic end
Mm,
where Phil hides in the wardrobe and scares Dan, which I think is just, I think that's the main reason why this video is so well known and so like iconic because of
mhm.
that bit, because it's just so funny. Dan is so genuinely concerned as to where Phil disappeared to.
Yeah, and this is one of those I don't know, I haven't watched any of like the natural voice compilation videos, but this should be in there because he's like he's still filming or whatever it is that Dan says. Um and then obviously he just goes, Phil! Phil! And he says it in his very specific Dan way where it sounds like Phil, like
Yeah,
PHW.
the classic Phil.
Yeah, classic. Phil! Excellent. Amazing. Best ending to a video that they've ever done.
And then, yeah, and then Phil is so like genuinely happy with himself and proud of himself that he managed to scare Dan, because like you can tell that's clearly not something he's very good at. So the
Mm,
fact that he managed to, he's like, yeah, I did it. And then Dan just looks so sort of like annoyingly pleased with Phil that he actually managed to scare him.
yeah, yeah. I think it was like built up from Epic Prank War or whatever that video was.
Oh yeah, epic prank off.
Yeah. Go listen to that episode. It's a good one, I'm sure.
Yeah, nice little segue. So yeah, that's basically the video. There is a little bit where Phil talks to the camera about some work they're doing with the BBC again for um the Edinburgh Fringe Festival coming up in August, which is exciting. So like, you know, they've obviously got these good connections with the BBC. We know that that's the main reason that they moved to London, in the hopes of sort of, trying to think what the word is, like establishing that relationship even more with the BBC.
Right, like networking and just like maybe getting like a more full-time gig. I think this was them auditioning for a full-time show. All of these like
Yeah,
cool festivals, yeah. Yeah, no, there is he linked another video on the BBC channel where they sort of like ask for entries and stuff like that. But it's not that relevant. You can go and watch it. It's pretty cute. Um but yeah, that was the wardrobe. We
that
did
was the wardrobe. An excellent video, I think. Some good like Dan and Phil
uh
like lore. Again, I think this is one of the like the core Dan and Phil videos, like joint content. Like if you were going to tell someone to watch some classic joint Dan and Phil content,
must
like if you had to give someone 10 videos, a must watch, yeah, if you had to give someone 10 joint Dan and Phil videos to watch, I think that this would probably be up there. It's very representative of the time and who they were in 2012. I think it establishes what they're like, and I think it's just very nostalgic, and it's very nice to see them in that like not camera persona, because I suppose it's
Mhm.
more sort of casual because they're like doing something, they're not sat filming a video like on Phil's bed kind of thing.
Yes.
So it's definitely more relaxed, and I think it's just got some nice Phil vibes to it.
You know what it reminds me of? I think this is like a good follow up to the tree from 2020.
I literally wrote that. I wrote that in my notes.
Our minds are this is why we're this
Our
friends.
minds. This is why we did this podcast.
Exactly.
That's so weird. Yeah, this is like the 2012 version of the tree.
Mm. Same, like it has the same vibes, it has the same bad lighting, it has the same Dan bullying Phil. Um it has the dick jokes. I think the tree also had a lot of innuendos, if I'm not wrong. Um
Yeah,
yeah, just excellent. Um shall we move on to uh wardrobe
some
ranking?
outfit ratings.
Yeah, let's do it.
Outfit rankings. So, first from me, it's a -1 million for both of their 3/4 shorts. They are the most disgusting items of clothing I've ever seen in my entire life. Get them off. And not in a weird way, just take them off and put some jeans on, or put some actual shorts on.
Yes, I agree. Or like full sweatpants on, like you're fully grown men. Please don't wear.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
just awful, horrible length of clothes. I hate them so much. Get them both in proper shorts. I know they have both worn proper shorts since.
Yeah.
But get Phil in those like 6-inch inseams, whatever they're called, the little teeny tiny man shorts. Get Phil in some of them. Get Dan in some of them.
Agreed.
Not these gross things.
I approve this message. I agree.
Dan and Phil, if you're listening, get your shorts on.
They do though.
I'm glad that they don't own these anymore.
In the gaming channel, they do wear shorts. We just don't see them most of the time.
They do.
Yeah.
Get your legs out for the lads.
For the lads and for us, who are also
And
the
for
lads.
us.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, Phil is wearing his Dr. Pepper t-shirt. I gave this a solid like 5 out of 10. It's a very average Phil t-shirt that you would expect him to wear in 2012. It's something that you could go to, I don't know where he got it from, but I feel like it's something you could go and see in a shop and you'd be like, oh, I bet Amazing Phil would buy that. And he has got it.
yeah, it's got it. Yeah, I think this is like very much his like graphic t-shirt era. If he's not wearing a
Hmm.
plaid shirt, he's wearing a graphic tee. And yeah, same. I think I was gonna give it something higher, like a 7, because I think purple is really his color, and it looks.
Yes, purple is a good colour actually, you're right.
Yeah, I think it looks good on him, but it is like a very forgettable piece of clothing in terms of like even the graphic tees that he owns. It's not really up there.
No.
Yeah.
And then we've got Dan's Laser Cats t-shirt. Now I've given this a 6 out of 10. I do enjoy this t-shirt again. I think it's a classic piece of Dan clothing.
Hmm.
But I think it's only classic because Dan had less clothes than Phil. So we saw a more varied rotation of Dan's clothes
Oh.
rather than with Phil. I think because Phil had more clothes, if we would like to see him film a video, there's more chance we're going to see something we've not seen before. Whereas
Mhm.
because Dana had like 2 t-shirts, we're more likely to see those clothes in rotation. So I think the Cats t-shirt is a classic Dan t-shirt. So that's why I've given it like a 6 out of 10. It's not my fave, but again, it's very Dan of the time.
Yes, I was gonna say like oh my god, I didn't even think of the fact that he had lesser clothes. I think I in my head it was just that he just like he just repeats his outfits a lot. Um I gave them this
I
was
mean, he does do that as well. He does repeat his outfits a lot as well.
yes, he does. And he has like his own like comfort zone with patterns and stuff like that. Um I think I gave this one an 8 because I really like the t-shirt, but it's very 2012. So it's not like I don't think he would be caught dead wearing it now. So yeah, 8.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
My one memory of this t-shirt is he wore this to an awards event that the name of it fails to escape me. And he wore this t-shirt with a blazer over the top of it. And it's 1000% the worst outfit he's ever worn. He looked awful. And I remember seeing the pictures when they came out and I was like, Dan, why have you gone to this awards event wearing a laser cat t-shirt and like a blazer to try and look smart?
They didn't,
This ain't the one.
yeah, they didn't roast this one in their red carpet.
They didn't, and they
They
should
sh-
have, because I would have ripped it apart with them.
I think I do remember the look, but I remember everyone really liking it. Oh my god.
Oh no, not the
Oh
one.
wow. I'm gonna search for the pictures and ask. I think we need an updated opinion on that t-shirt. Oh, not the t-shirt, on the look specifically with the blazer.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And then also, I just give a little cheeky shout out. 1000 out of 10 for Phil's mismatched socks. Excellent content, keeping up the brand. Love that for him.
Love that for him. And I think it became more of like a I don't I mean we have been rewatching the individual videos, so I don't know how much of his branding this was part of, but I feel like London he was showing off his socks a lot more. Um so I think it became more established that he wears mismatched socks. But I agree. A million points just for that.
Million points for the mismatched
Yes.
socks. And so we come to the comment section
Mm.
on the video. I had a little quick flick through, nothing really of note, other than I saw so many comments along the same vein of people saying, oh, for Dan to scare Phil, he has to like wear a mask and hide away. But for Phil to scare Dan, he just has to not be there. I'm so sad.
Oh, oh,
R.I.P. Crying, crafting.
oh my god. Oh, that is so. Ooh, that's so gross. Ooh. But I think.
It's such like a tone as well of like what people were thinking at the time when they watched this. And I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
I
cool.
guess, yeah. I think he. I don't know what. I cannot tell what he was thinking. I think he was just a bit like, what the fuck? Where did you go? We were literally just filming. Why would you abandon me? Like, in.
Yeah, that was all from the comments. I didn't really see a lot else, but thought I'd just throw that in there.
Thank you. And what else? Oh, the end. So, okay. So, last but certainly not least, shall we rank the video? Can I? All right.
Yes.
How many wardrobes out of 10 would you rate this video, Charlotte?
Hmm. I'm gonna go like a solid middle ground of a 7, 7.5.
Ooh, okay, okay.
I don't hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like loving it. And I think what we say every time when we've rated these older videos, it's so like of the time. I kind of find it harder to enjoy it now, knowing like the content that we've got now. But it's still a very enjoyable Dan and Phil video. And like we said before, I think it's definitely part of like that core group of must watch Dan and Phil videos.
Yes. Ooh, okay.
What about you, Fizz? How many wardrobes out of 10?
I've written 8 down. I think 8 is a good one for me because this is a fave of mine. I used to rewatch it a lot, and
Hmm.
again, like, just because it's so iconic and a must watch video, I think it deserves a higher score. And also, I think with the innuendos as well, like, I think this is one of those like soft launch of the gays video. I think Phil would agree with me if he were to react to it today. He'd be like, this is where we're being deeply homosexual here. So yeah, I really like it. I can't really think of anything negative other than just like, yeah, it is a bit off the time, but I think I would still enjoy it very much the more I watch it. But I,
Yeah, I still enjoyed watching it. I haven't watched it in
yeah,
years, so it was nice to sort of
yeah,
relive
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But
But it,
knowing the content that is to come, it's so hard to like rank this any higher because I know that there are videos that I love that I'm waiting to give a like 10 million out of 10.
yes, no, no, I agree. I know that it will get better, which is also why I'm not giving it a full 10 on 10, just based on like nostalgia. Um, but yeah, oh my god. That was the wardrobe. We're done. Episode 1. Done.
We're in London, we're established. Season 2 is in full swing, baby.
Yee. Do you want to know what's next?
I would like to
It's
know what's next. Go ahead,
it's
Fizz. Surprise
it's so
me.
exciting. You're gonna be so happy. Um,
I have an idea what it might be actually,
do
but go
you?
on.
Okay. Unless there are some deleted videos in between, because we're jumping straight into my first Dan and Phil video, which is Philosophon 4, which is
What? Oh my god. That wasn't what I was expecting
really.
actually. Yeah, I'm
I'm
excited.
excited too. So unless, like I said, unless there's a deleted video on like Dan's channel, which is very likely because we're jumping from July to October. Um, unless there's something in between, I will correct myself in the editing over here. This is where editing me will say that I was wrong, but we will be returning to pin off next episode.
That is so exciting. I feel like we haven't watched a pin-off in ages.
We really have not, because it's been now at this point. Now is when they will be doing it every October or every November.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's even more exciting about this is Dan and Phil have since reacted to this as well. So it'll be interesting to see how our reactions compare. And I will definitely go back and rewatch Dan and Phil's reaction to Pin-Off 4
same.
before like we record the episode. I'm very excited for that.
I'm super excited for that. Same. Uh, yeah, I'm so excited to be back, and yeah. We hope you like this episode. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Before we finish, we do have a little exciting announcement that you will have seen if you follow us on Twitter or Tumblr. The wonderful people over at Fandom Gives, who arrange charity fundraisers for Dan and Phil's birthday every year. Each birthday drive, they run a FanWorks raffle. So if you donate up to £5 or euros or dollars, you can be in with a chance of winning a prize that's been created by some of the lovely people in the fandom. And one of the prizes we are offering is to be a guest on our podcast.
Woo!
So we will put the link in the episode description on Spotify and when we post it out on Twitter and Tumblr. So if you would like to be a guest on our podcast, there's absolutely no rules. You can just pick whatever Dan and Phil video you want to talk about. Just bring the vibes, bring some notes. We're not asking you to do weeks worth of research.
Yeah.
Just come along and hopefully we can have a nice time.
Yeah, it's totally chill. You can be a part of the Best Friends Club in a more involved way, I guess. And again, like there's no limits to what Dan Phil video you want. You can ask for something newer.
As long as it's not one we've already done.
Yeah. I mean, yes, obviously. It can be a joint video we haven't done yet. It can be a gaming video. It can be something that's not on their channels. Even I think yeah, no limits. And if you
If you want to react,
Hmm.
if you want to talk about an entire Dan and Phil stereo show, we will do that. No limitations, no boundaries.
No boundaries. Literally any joint content counts, except for like an Instagram picture or whatever. Like it has to be a video.
Hey, no, we can talk about an Instagram picture for an hour if we want. We could do it.
I think. Okay, if you bring the vibes, I think we can do it for sure. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's like super exciting. So I mean, you should be, if you can, definitely donate. Um, but as a fun bonus,
I will be donating when I get paid next week.
so will I. I will not get paid next week, but I will be donating. Um, but yeah, we hope to see one of you with us soon.
Yeah, that'll be very exciting.
Yeah.
So that is the episode. We have just watched The Wardrobe. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for sticking with us. And we're very excited for the rest of series 2.
We are, and we will see you next episode at in Pin-Off Land for Pin-Off 4.
In Pin-Off Land.
Yes.